Hello and welcome to another episode of India Today, India Tomorrow, where we bring together families across generations to give you a slice of life. And today we are joined by exactly one such prominent family, a father-son duo. We are joined by the former Chief Minister and Congress MP and veteran leader Digvijay Singh and his young son, former Minister and MLA Jaivardhan Singh. Appreciate both of you joining us, Jaivardhan and Digvijay Singh ji. I want to come to you, Jaivardhan, first, because this is what I was told by a friend in Bhopal who says Digvijay Singh ji and Jaivardhan is not about father-son but Guru-Shishya. Wherever Digvijay Singh ji goes, Jaivardhan follows. Is that true?
Well, I guess for every son, his father is like a guru. But at the same time, we also like friends. When I turned 16, my father's first advice to me was that the moment a son turns 16, then it's not just a father and son relationship, then they become friends. So since then, our relation has been like that of two friends. And, of course, whenever I need, his guidance is always there. At the same time, he is a very liberal person. So he does let me, plan on my own, lead my life the way I would like to. But whenever I need his advice, he's always there.
He doesn't intimidate you, does he? Digvijay Singh ji doesn't intimidate you and say, yahi karna hai. Does he give you the freedom to choose?
I don't think he intimidates anyone. I mean, I'm sure, sir, you also know him very well. He's someone who, like I said earlier, is fairly liberal. He lets people, gives them their space. And with me also, throughout my life, he's been always there as a guiding force, but only when I ask for guidance. Doesn't give it when it's not asked for.
He didn't force you into politics, right?
Quite the contrary. In fact, when I first mentioned to him that I'm interested in getting into politics, I wanted to fight elections from our hometown, Raghugarh, he was strongly against it. He said it's not the right job to get into. You've done your BCom honors, you've done your master's in public administration, there's some other things you can look at. But when I insisted, then he said, then you have to first work on the ground, you have to go visit the constituency, know the villages, know the people there who we have a strong link with. And only when I did 2 Bath Yatras for 7 days each, stayed in the villages, lived there, ate with them, was with the people throughout the time, and he felt that I could actually settle into this kind of a life, then he assisted me from the back. But even then, he was quite hesitant. And you won't believe, for the last 6 years, since I've been an MLA, he hasn't come to my constituency. So he has just let me get along with it.
That's interesting. That's fascinating. Digvijay Singh ji, let's be honest. You didn't want your son to follow your footsteps? I don't believe that. Which Congress politician in particular doesn't want his son or daughter to follow his footsteps?
Exactly. This is what I am. In fact, I tried to dissuade him as much as possible, but then all these smart kids, they know how to get around you. So he instead of working on me, he worked on his mother and convinced her to tell me that why should I oppose it. So I said, fine, if he wants to, but I don't want at the later stage in his life to sort of mention that I forced them into politics, because politics is the last refuge of scoundrels, and also politics is a very career where you have to sort of go back to the people every 5 years, and family is the first casualty. I got into it early, so I hardly saw my children growing up. All that was looked after by the late Asha. And therefore, I didn't want him to feel that I have pushed him into a field which, for my own political interests or whatever my vested interests, which he was regretting later on. So that is it.
No, are you seriously telling me, Digvijay Singh ji, I come back to it, that because your family has dominated Raghugarh politics for nearly half a century. Your father was an independent MLA there in the 1950s. You became an MLA from 77, represented it several times. Now Jaivardhan's represented it twice. Come on. Are you telling me that you wanted to leave Raghugarh for someone else?
You should also believe me that my son to tell me in later life that he was forced into this, a profession or a life, because I forced him to go into it. So therefore, I had to allow him to decide for himself. And that is it.
Because, there's all this talk about dynasties, particularly when it comes to the Congress party. And it starts from the top with the Gandhi Nehrus, and it's now seen to spread to across all political parties and leaders of the Congress as well. Let's be clear, is it much easier for a Jayawardhan to just come from a consulting firm in Mumbai and become an MLA in Raghugarh than, let's say, for anyone else who doesn't have the family surname or legacy?
There is no vacuum in politics. If come into politics, someone else would have represented Raghugarh. So that's so I think it should be left to the choice of the person who wants to do it, rather than force him to do it. And personally, I have always been that kind. I don't force my opinion on anyone, and I allow them to do what they want to do. And if they are doing something which is not good, I just tell them. But ultimately, I never force anyone, be it my son or my colleagues, my friends, anyone.
But is it not true that a few months ago, when the Madhya Pradesh government was tottering and eventually fell, one of the charges was that Digvijay Singh Ji is promoting his son Jayawardhan. He became a minister at a very young age, and the accusation was that you were promoting your son to one day take over, in a sense, from the Congress baton in Madhya Pradesh.
Well, let me tell you one thing, that my father was not there when I became MLA at the age of 30 and became a minister at the age of 33. And I had no one to push me that time, but I got it my own. Now, he became a minister about a year later than what I did then when I became. So I don't see any reason why he shouldn't have got it. And in fact, it is something which the chief minister had to decide. I didn't decide that.
I would
you didn't push him. You didn't go to Kamal Nath and say, look, you've got... yeah, go ahead.
When the government fell, it was very unfortunate and no one expected it. But also 6 ministers resigned. So it wasn't just people who did not become ministers. It was more people who had become ministers but were linked to certain people. So that was the main reason. So that entire idea that one person became and others did not wasn't the main reason. And plus there were, I think, in the cabinet of, 27, 28, there were around 12 or 14 who were second-time MLAs. It wasn't only me.
The reason I'm asking you this is that there's a sense that Digvijay Singh Ji, you have enough clout in Madhya Pradesh to tell Kamal Nath, मेरे बेटे को तो मंत्री बनाना है.
Do you know Kamal Nath? How long have you known him?
Very long. At least a quarter century.
Rajdeep, he's got a mind of his own and he won't listen to anyone.
Let me throw a googly question at you. Since you're a cricketer, Digvijay Singh Ji, you can answer that question. What if your son did a Sachin pilot tomorrow and rebelled in some form against the Congress leadership? What would you say? What would you say? Suppose your son comes to you, Digvijay Singh Ji, and says, look, the BJP is offering me a ministership. I want to be in the BJP. The BJP is the party of power. Congress is the party of the past. What would you tell him? What would you tell Jayawardhan? He won't spare you. Is that true? Digvijay Singh Ji, you won't spare your son?
Tell him,
or you'll encourage him to leave?
Yeah. I won't I won't spare my son. I will see him defeated in Raghugarh.
No, let me get that clear. You are saying that if Jayawardhan decides to leave the Congress tomorrow, join the BJP, contest from Raghugarh, the father will campaign against the son. Am I correct?
Absolutely correct, and vehemently I'll oppose him.
There you are.
Jayawardhan, there you are, yes, but look at what's happening in politics at the moment. People are switching sides, defections are taking place, Congress governments are falling. Do you see as a young person a future for yourself in the Congress, or do you believe that the young that you spoke about in 2003-4 who inspired you to join politics, the so-called Gen Next, many of them are now leaving to join the BJP, the Scindias, possibly the pilots. What would you say to them today? Or what would you want to do?
Of course, I see a very bright future for myself in the Congress and for the Congress as a whole. And let me tell you, I was personally very disappointed when Scindia ji left. And even with what Sachin Pilot ji is going through right now, I mean, he hasn't really confirmed anything yet. But it is very disappointing. And, I had a very, very good personal relationship with Scindia ji and with Sachin Pilot ji. In the last 6 to 10 years, I used to meet Scindia ji often one-to-one. I used to call on him. I used to meet him regularly in Delhi. And we've had a very, very wonderful relationship. So when he left suddenly, I was very surprised because there was so much he had achieved in the Congress, and there was so much respect he was given by Rahul Gandhi ji, by Priyanka ji. So, and we all felt in Madhya Pradesh that, Kamal Nath ji is in his early 70s, and so is Digvijay Singh ji. But between their age and Scindia ji's age, there was really no one else. So it came as a bit of a surprise that he ended up doing this because we all thought, as far as Madhya Pradesh was concerned, he was the future. So it was disappointing, but I personally feel that, in the short run, maybe he feels he's done the right thing. But in the long run, I think he'll regret it because BJP is a very different party.
Rajdeep, let me also share a secret that whenever after the government was formed, there were some issues which I had to discuss with Jyotiraditta ji. So between us, we decided that, okay, as far as the Guna district is concerned and Gwalior Chambal division is concerned, you deal with my son Jayavardhan. I will not interfere. If there isn't a problem, then tell me, because if you feel more comfortable to sort of meet and discuss and sort out issues with Jayavardhan being your own age, then I have no problem. Let him do it. And he used to discuss with him.
No, the problem though, Digvijay Singh ji, and this is a classic India in a way, that the old guard is not willing to give way, that you and the Kamal Nath jis are continuing. So the youngsters, so-called youngsters, even in their 40s and 50s, feel that they don't have a future. Jayavardhan is of course much younger today at 34, but those who are in their 40s and 50s perhaps feel that, look, when will the 70-year-olds retire? When will a Digvijay Singh ji retire? When will a Kamal Nath retire?
I think you should go back to the history of the Congress party in the freedom movement. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru became a president of the AICC at the young age of 36. And he struggled for 25 to 30 years, went to jail so many times, and then he could get something in the government. So these youngsters must also understand that you have to come through a struggle. Now, all these youngsters who have sort of inherited the political legacy of their father, they have not really struggled the way some of us, most of us rather, who have struggled. I started my career as a General Secretary of the District Congress Committee, then became a Pradesh Congress Committee member, then became a MLA, then became a State Youth Congress General Secretary. So we came step by step by step. Now all these youngsters who have inherited the political legacy of their father have got it much easier than what we did. So therefore they must also realize that there has to be a waiting period for all this. You will get whatever you desire, put in your effort, put in your best, and let the party decide. This is when the self becomes over.
You agree with that,
the
Jayavardhan?
party or the nation, then there's a problem.
Well, I always believe that.
You agree with that, Jayavardhan? Life has been easier. Life has been much easier for you than it has been for your father. You had a relatively soft landing compared to what your father had, and that's the accusation that is also made today against the Scindias and the pilots, in a way that they didn't have to fight in the manner that maybe their fathers or the previous generation had to.
See, sir, personally, of course, in my first election, there was a certain advantage But in my second election, which I fought in 2018, my father didn't come campaign for me. He didn't come in the last 6 years. So that was wholly my own campaign without any interference from my father. And in 2013, when I won, he said in the last rally, he said, if he works for you, good for him, you vote for him. But if you aren't happy with him, then don't vote for him next time. So that was made very clear. And he never came again after that to my constituency. As far as Sachin Pilot ji and Scindia ji are concerned, it wasn't so easy for them in the beginning, because don't forget, they both came from a very big personal tragedy where they lost their fathers. So that wasn't easy for them at all. But at the same time, they grew very fast. And I can say personally, and as well as for many other young leaders in the Congress and the youth in the Congress, that we all looked up to both of them. Of course, the way things have happened in the last few months, hasn't really gone down well with the party and with all of us as well, because we all thought that the next 10 years were theirs. I still feel that in Rajasthan, yes, Ashok Gehlot ji is there today, but tomorrow I think Sachin Pilot ji has a very clear field ahead of him.
Before I take a break, I just want to understand this, Digvijay Singh ji. Then why is it that the Congress is bedeviled with this stamp of the family legacy? Can an outsider in the Congress really take on the Gandhi Nehrus? Can an outsider take on Digvijay Singh and son in Madhya Pradesh? Or is it very, very difficult for an outsider? That at the end of the day, politics, particularly in your party, is a closed shop. The top post is reserved for the Gandhi Nehru family, and even in the states, there are chieftains like you who will not give space to others.
It's a wrong accusation, Rajdeep. Number one, Nehru Gandhi family has not imposed itself ever on anyone. Now, if you see the history, after Sanjay Gandhi ji's untimely demise, Rajiv ji came in because the congressmen in general, in mass, wanted Rajiv ji to come in, and he came in. Now, after another very tragic incident when we lost Rajiv ji, Sonia ji flatly refused to come in politics. And even when we formed the government in 2004, she refused to become the Prime Minister. So she is one person who has been consistent that she is not after power. She, of course, knows the kind of legacy which she has inherited of Pandit Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira ji, Sanjay ji, Rajiv ji. So she has, it is amazing, a person born and
she's
brought
accused
up
of pushing her
India,
son. She's accused of pushing her son, sir. She's accused of pushing her son.
No. She, on the contrary, you forget what she told her son when he became the vice president of the Congress party. She told him that power is like poison, so you better be careful. So I don't think she pushed her son, but voluntarily Rahul Gandhi ji came and sort of, as it has happened in the case of Jayawardhan, he came on his own.
Okay. Let's take a break at this point. When we return, plenty more with father and son, Digvijay and Jayawardhan Singh. Welcome back to India Today, India Tomorrow, where we have with us father-son from Madhya Pradesh. In Bhopal, Digvijay Singh ji. In Raghavgarh, his son, Jayawardhan Singh. Jayawardhan, if you were not a politician, what would you be?
Well, I was in consulting back in 2009. And I was planning to go along with that. But then, of course, I did my master's in public administration. So was looking at, maybe something in the World Bank or in the UN or something at that point. But the moment I felt there was a chance and opportunity back in Raghavgarh, I took the chance. because I felt the earlier I can get in, the more impact I can make on the ground. And that's why I spend at least 15 to 20 days a month, even now, in Raghugarh.
Digvijay Singh ji, if there is one piece of advice that you would give your son, there's a sense that, the foreign educated younger generation of Congress leaders perhaps can't get their hands dirty in the manner that perhaps you could. You were seen as a, as the old style politician in Madhya Pradesh. Would you advise your son also to become that kind of old style politician, a kind of a Chanakya of Madhya Pradesh?
First of all, please don't abuse Chanakya. I have no patch on him. My only piece of advice is you must have in your mind India first, party second, self third. And also keep yourself close to the ground, connect with the people, keep your ears on the ground, feel the pulse of the people, and do your best. And also remember that ultimately in politics, what matters are the people who repose trust in you. So that is why I have always said, always don't don't ever do something which
don't be a drawing room leader, be a mass leader.
People. Even they are not with you, they may be opposed to you also. In fact, I personally have always kept politics out of my own constituency. I always try to keep my opponents also on my side, and I try to oblige them also. This is what I did, and this is what I told my son also. If you want to do politics, do it outside your constituency. In constituency, you are a family, so don't ever annoy even your enemies.
Let me ask you therefore, Jayawardhan, at the dinner table, do father and son and the family discuss politics? Do you discuss cricket, sports? What do you all discuss on the dining table? कि कैसे सरकार बनानी है, गिरानी है? What do you discuss?
When he came back from Doon School, there was no connect. There was no connect between the father and the son. Then I saw his interest in English Premier League and Rooney's and all those footballers. So I thought the best way to connect with him is to watch English Premier League and also discuss with him Manchester United or Liverpool or Manchester City. So this is where we started to connect again. Otherwise, there was a huge there was no communication between the father and the son.
And likewise, I started following politics.
And then, of course, I told him after this is what my father used to tell me. My father used to say that.
So you are telling me 16, that you were discussing. So the father was using Manchester United, Manchester City, right? So father is using English Premier League to connect with the son. How was the son connecting with the father? By discussing Arjun Singh, Motilal Vora, Madhav Rao Scindia, the politics of the 80s, 90s in Madhya Pradesh. You wanted to know from your father politics. He wanted to know football from you. Is that right, Jayawardhan?
Absolutely. There have been such interesting times in the family and in his political career that there are many episodes which when you hear from him, it's always a pleasure. So I think the moment I came back from school and did my college in Delhi, so there were many instances where I tried to understand a lot of what his background was and the struggles that he had, which always, in a way, a lot of stories you hear about a person's, history and his entire background, it helps you in the future. So there were many different episodes which he has told us.
Well, the thing is that in a way, I think next time maybe we should do this program around a dinner table with father and son talking football and politics. And that might be an interesting way perhaps to hold the next India Today.
Most welcome,
India Tomorrow with the two of you.
I will talk to you about Dilip Sardesai.
Wonderful, sir. we can. I will be delighted to share
I
some
will talk to
cricketing
you
memories, and you can tell us all about the politics.
The great cricketer.
Sure, sir, and we'll all talk about politics as well. Jaivardhan Singh and Digvijay Singh ji, both of you have joined me on India Today, India Tomorrow. Thank you so much for sharing this time with us.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.